Hey guys, Andrew Henderson from nomadcapitalist.com here in Portugal, right on the banks of the Douro River. Beautiful place, and spent a great birthday here with some friends, some colleagues from all over the world. Highly recommend the Michelin star rated Yeatman restaurant, but wanted to talk to you about something that I saw driving around town that I thought would interest you and why I think it's important. Ironically enough, the last time I was in Porto, 8 years ago, right around this time of year, I saw something similar. Back when Portugal was just getting into the depths of its really bad financial crisis that spawned the Golden Visa program and some of the other things that work well for the offshore world. But one of the signs that I'm seeing all around town is a political sign. And it is for the Communist Party, the hammer and sickle Communist Party. It's always interesting to see countries like Portugal, which have always kind of flirted more in that direction, but never really entirely gone that direction, thinking, hey, communism, let's give that a chance. And one of the signs that I see all over town is, by January, 2 months from now, we want €600 minimum wage anywhere in the country. Everyone, no matter where you work, if you work a full-time job, you make €600. Now keep in mind, if you haven't seen a map, look at where Portugal is. We're about as far west in Europe as you can go. And essentially, this is a beautiful country. I love it. Nice people. All my friends who came in from all over said, what an amazing place. And it's actually becoming an increasingly popular place for nomads to be. Thanks to some tax exemptions and golden visa policies, as well as just a place to come and work as a tourist, which we'll talk about in other videos. But imagine that. You're about as far west as you can go in Western Europe, and you're paying €600. By the way, if you hire 10 Portuguese people, you can get a golden visa. No real estate purchase required. I see a lot of folks who, one, are afraid to consider places in Western Europe, or they're afraid to consider certain places at all because they think, oh, that's going to be expensive. Now, as nomad capitalists, the expense doesn't scare us off as much as it might people who are just getting started. But what really intrigues me is the idea of people hiring in places like the Philippines because it's cheap. People hiring in India because it's cheap. I'm not saying for €600 you're getting the best English speaker or you're getting the most amazing person. But keep in mind, the minimum wage is less than that right now. And for some of these folks, €700-800 is a pretty good salary. I know plenty of folks who are hiring in the Philippines and elsewhere, or who used to, and I convinced them to find other people, who are paying $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, because they think, oh, that's what's cheap. And so everyone going there and thinking it's cheap and hiring these folks is what's driving up wages to the point where you could hire someone in Western Europe who probably has more of your sensibilities for a lot less money and not have as much of lost in translation. And this is a challenge that I see with folks who are hiring overseas, and when they're living overseas or whatever, there's this perception that if I don't go to some place that's totally new, totally off the radar, or in the case of the Philippines, for example, totally, kind of the emerging world, that I'm going to pay too much. I'm not going to be able to go where I'm treated best. And I think that that's really not the case. Portugal, again, for example, has rolled out some really great tax incentives for nomad capitalists. Portugal has interesting residence opportunities, not just the Golden Visa program. A couple other countries in Europe have pretty good tax exemptions, and nobody thinks, oh, European Union. That's not possible. Listen, the European Union is going to be more bureaucratic. There's going to be more involved. Hiring people formally in Portugal, like through a Portuguese company, is going to be a little bit challenging, more so than just paying people through Upwork. But I do think it's worth considering, folks, that you look at living, look at hiring, look at residency, look at citizenship, look at all the different opportunities in countries like Portugal that have something to offer but have probably been swept under the rug because they're not the latest and greatest, they're not emerging. I'm not saying Portugal ticks all the boxes, but I think for some people, a country like this is probably being ignored because people aren't thinking that it's possible. So always keep an open mind and realize that some countries have declining fortunes and want to revive those fortunes by letting other people come in and take advantage of some loopholes. Definitely something to keep in mind. Now, if you want to find out more about how to go where you're treated best, we've got a lot of great videos here on YouTube. Now millions of views of our videos, and of course nomadcapitalist.com for all of our well over 1,000 articles on how you can go where you're treated best.